Our country is blessed with rich natural resources, but sadly, we have repeatedly squandered these gifts. We are destroying nature's fragile treasures over time, but there is still a glimmer of hope. In this series, we take a look at various protected areas throughout the archipelago to learn the stories of the land, how it was once neglected and abused, and how it is slowly being renewed. This is Loren Legarda, and I present Our Fragile Earth, Protected Areas of the Philippines. On July 30, 2004, Congress enacted Republic Act 9303, otherwise known as the Mount Hamiguitan Range Wildlife Sanctuary of 2004. The act declares a mountain range and its vicinities as a protected area under the category of wildlife sanctuary. For the Mandaya indigenous group living in the uplands, the lowlanders in the city of Mati, and the towns of San Isidro and Governor Generoso, the mountain range is an important part of their natural heritage.
Yung conservation na sinasabi at saka yung protection na nanggagaling po sa amin kasi pasok kami, yung dalawang pasok po sa tagpi. Yung tinatawag na Certificate of Ancestral Domain Title ng Mandaya Manubo Tribe.
As soon as you hear the name Mount Hamiguitan, ang unang papasok sa isip ng mga tao ay ang pygmy forest. Yung mga kahoy na nasa-stunt yung growth because of a highly mineralized soil of the mountain. But other than that, marami pang resources within the Mount Hamiguitan.
It is also considered as an ecological staircase because it contains 5 distinct vegetation types. No? The Musi pygmy forest at the topmost elevation, followed by the Musi forest. Then at the mid portion of the mountain is the montane, then followed by the dipterocarp forest. Then at the lowermost part of this mountain range is the agro ecosystem.
Ang daming attractions at saka ang daming flora and fauna na doon lang talaga makikita. It's like the pitcher plant. No, andun yung pinakamaliit na raptor, andun din yung pinakamalaki, which is the Philippine Eagle.
These conditions have made the Mount Hamiguitan Range Wildlife Sanctuary the ideal habitat for our country's national pride. Striking in appearance, these ferocious hunters prey on small mammals, but their population has been seriously threatened by years of poaching and deforestation. The situation persuaded the Philippine Eagle Foundation to commit to its mission to reverse the Philippine eagle's dwindling number and restore its habitat.
Distribution is quite limited to the islands of Mindanao, Samar, Leyte, and Luzon. In addition to that, there are very few of them left. Only 400 pairs are left in the wild.
So that is why we have this project, the Biodiversity Partnerships Project. So it has been implemented in 8 sites all over the country. Tapos po, one of the sites is Mount Hamiguitan Key Biodiversity Area.
On June 12, 2015, while the country celebrated Independence Day, the Philippine Eagle Foundation spearheaded the release of another rehabilitated eagle, Pamana.
Well, Pamana was an eagle which we rehabilitated after it was captured in Iligan. The bird was initially shot. We treated her and tried to rehabilitate her. And after 2 years, she was ready for release back to the wild.
Maraming challenges dyan kasi we cannot deny that there are still matatawag nating illegal activities like poaching, yung mga hunting of wildlife, andyan pa rin.
Prior to releasing the bird, we conducted education and information campaigns throughout the range, primarily working with schools, local government units.
However, the great accomplishment of restoring the Philippine eagle's habitat suffered a big blow. 2 months after her release, Pamana was found dead in the middle of the wild. It bore a wound from a metal fragment believed to be from a shattered metal gun pellet. Other scientists offer an alternative perspective.
Not necessarily na nabaril siya.
It could be na si Pamana being an introduced eagle sa site, and not even sa core or buffer zone ng site siya napunta, but then yung environment, yung acceptability niya sa environment. So perhaps yung mga resident eagle na doon at saka species baka ayaw din sa kanya. Prior to the release, yung mga studies na kailangan, yung involvement ng communities, I think hindi yun na set up.
And 3 years, almost 3 years, he was fed there. He was not trained to hunt, even for a few days, no, few weeks.
The Philippine Eagle Foundation dismissed these alternative theories and stood by its findings.
Basically, everything done by the foundation was transparent. We had eagle necropsy by a qualified veterinarian, and the results are well documented. The bird was radio tagged, so it emits a radio signal, and that's what our biologists follow day in and day out. So when it emitted the mortality mode, which means something was wrong with the bird, we immediately went to search for the...
I only knew that Pamana died. 5 days after they brought the carcass to Davao City.
What do they know about looking for an eagle and what? It requires a certain kind of expertise to do this. In addition to that, we only had a couple of transceivers. Without a transceiver, you cannot. It's like looking for a needle in a haystack.
Hindi naman kami nagkulang. May mga bantay gubat kami. Ang mga tao namin dito ever since wala talagang walang ginagalaw na mga living things. Ang mga taga San Isidro, especially La Union, they were so surprised. No, bakit hindi pinatay ha? Bakit namatay?
Yun nga ang problema dyan. Pinagtakpan ng mga tao doon the fact that killing and hunting of wildlife was going on in the area.
The death of Pamana is a reminder of the unsafe conditions in our forests that affect the survival of wildlife. No amount of finger-pointing or blame-dodging can reverse the negative impact of human activities on biodiversity. But instead of surrendering to man's ways, let us make it a turning point and enjoin our local leaders and communities to further collaborate for a more responsive and effective policy in conserving our natural resources and wildlife.